Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hey guys, welcome. Well, I got some good news from Goloka, just kind of been downloaded. I just can't keep quiet about it. You know me, I'm a blabbermouth. Johan's getting just as bad as I am. Maybe he's worse now. Come on, man, let's see. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hey, I got a few people here. Let's advertise this to the hilt today, man. I'm going to advertise it. Meantime, let's chant a little japa here till we get to our subject, important subject matter. How blessed we are. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so might as well get started here. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Yeah. So, here it is. So, I was going to read from chapter 23, Life's Ultimate Goal, Love of Godhead. I'll just pick up some selected verses. I don't feel like going systematically through. Just pick up some selected verses. So the first verse here, Jai Srila Prabhupada. First verse is, the most munificent Supreme Personality of Godhead, Gaura Krishna, distributed to everyone, even the lowest of men, his own confidential treasury in the form of the nectar of love of himself and the holy name. This was never given to the people at any time before. Thank you so much. So, we owe a debt, a huge debt. I'm going to read the word for word. Let's really savor this verse here. Chirat, for a long time. Adatam, not given. Nijat, Gupta Vitam, his own personal confidential property. So, the Lord has given his own confidential personal property. He considers his confidential personal property. Most confidential personal. That should... See, everything belongs to the Lord, but so the most confidential personal property of the Lord is what's coming here. Swa prema, of love for him. See? So the most confidential personal property of Lord Krishna is love for him. Now, how does that show up practically? The Lord just revealed this to me. I'll tell you, it is so wonderful to have an intimate friend like Krishna. He never stops revealing stuff. He's like a chatterbox. When you get to know him, man, the guy doesn't stop talking. And he just loves sharing stuff with his devotees. Who else is he going to share with? Nobody else listens to him. They're all listening to impersonal Brahman. What is the Brahman saying to me? It ain't the most confidential personal property of the Lord. Eh? The only ones who know what is the most confidential personal property of the Lord are those who understand the nature of his appearance in this world. I was discussing with Janaki today. Okay? They're the ones who worship the Lord, Bhagavad-Gita 10:10, in loving ecstasy. Okay? They have the right understanding. They have the understanding of how to find their way back home. Nobody else. So Lord Chaitanya distributed his most confident... See how we're just... people, if they chew their food good, it's really nice. And the same thing, if you really chew these verses, really masticate them good, you get so much out of it. So much out of it. And so much realization comes from this. This is the happiness of the Lord and his devotees, man. You want to find out what makes the Lord happy? Find a real associate of the Lord and see how they eat the verses like people eat the most delicious food. Then you know what the Lord's nature is, because they'll tell you and show you. Okay? So how does this practically show up? That the Lord distributes his most confidential treasury, love for himself. How does it practically show up? Does anybody answer that question? If you can, that means the Lord is speaking to you also. Because only he knows these things. And he informs his real devotees, real associates. And this is the secret of understanding where to find out, first of all, what is the most confidential. See how we're really building this one up, huh? People saying, come on, tell us, what is this? What is it you're talking about? We got to build it up to a crescendo, to a climax. What is this most confident? You should be on the edge of your seat saying, what is this most confidential? What is this? How does it practically show up? And how is our sanga one of the very, 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 very few that are realizing this verse? Even though you may not quite know it consciously yet, how that most confidential treasury is being distributed right here, right now, in this very moment. Are you eager to know, or do you know already? Is the Lord blabbing to you already all these secret things? Okay. He has never... really building this one up. He has never been this has never been given to the people at all. What is being given in our sangha has Oh, yeah, that's a bowl clean, and we're going to prove it, man. You watch, man. Has never been, what's given in our sangha, and maybe some others, but they have to step forward. Some are starting to come, okay? At least I know in this sangha, and you will probably agree with my point here, what is never been given before to the people, especially ones who are not qualified, never been given to the people before. Maybe 4 billion years ago when he was here before. Okay? His most confidential treasury, Swayam Prema. See, love for himself. Now, how does that practically show up that that is actually being given in our sangha? And this should destroy, obliterate all of those atheistic arguments of even the so-called Prabhupada disciples who don't like our preaching. If you like our preaching, then I'll know you are Prabhupada disciples, truly. Okay, so distribute his most confidential treasury of love for himself. Okay, how does that practically show up? How do you know that treasury has been distributed? Ecstasy is part of it. See, his confidential treasury of love for himself. Who is he practically in this world? Okay, Lord Chaitanya said Krishna. Krishna, the book form of the Lord. Okay, this book, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, is the book incarnation of Bhagavan. Okay, so he's distributed that love for himself. So when you can read these verses and chant these verses and chant the name of God and everything related to the Lord, his devotees verses, the revelations of real devotees, not speculators who teach you that'll take you many, many lifetimes to get prema, not those guys, but his real devotees, who if you have faith in them, you can get prema right there in this moment. Okay? If you have faith in a real guru who is distributing the confidential treasury of love for these books in this name, okay? And you'll find a place where it has never been distributed before Lord Chaitanya until his other advent. He's never given it so easy. Because love for himself, Krishna has love for himself, right? He has devotees who love him. But you had to be qualified. You'd have to do devotional activities for 60,000 years in the what do you call, Satya Yuga, man, when you lived a long time. But to deliver this love for himself freely, who is qualified? Why have these devotees? They're getting this mercy either from their guru, but they have a guru that has bhakti, and they get that mercy through him, or they're getting it here, and they wonder, hey man, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfectly pure. Why am I getting this? Because the Lord wanted to do it, and he still wants to do it, and he is doing it if you make the right connection. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be in the right place, at the right time, in the right circumstances, and that happens to be right here in our sangha. Happens to be the right place, the right circumstances, okay? And the right time, 2019. And the right proof, too, is people are becoming attracted to chanting Hare Krishna, attracted to the pastimes of the Lord, attracted to hear, like for 3 hours, me or Johan or River or somebody speaking about Lord Chaitanya, who is the worshipable deity for the Paramahamsas. That's what the scripture. Who's a Paramahamsa here? Well, he's given us Paramahamsa status. You know, even sannyasis, these persons who are sannyasis, to be honest with you, I see more attraction for Lord Chaitanya and Radha and Krishna in this sangha than in these big sannyasis. Oh, they're just, most of them prancing around, showing off, show bottle. Oh, look at us. We're really big sannyasis. Well, where's your big bhakti, man? Where's your big relish of the truth? Where's your big bam bam of the illusions, man? See, proof we're in the real line and we have the real order coming through the parampara to distribute this same confidential treasury of love for himself, is love for Krishna, is that you, many of you, maybe most of you, or maybe all of you, are becoming attracted to Krishna. Even though some are so friggin' offensive they can't even stay here in our sangha. Still, they got something. Now that's mercy, I would say. That's the truth, man. You see, that's being distributed in our sangha. Yeah. Attraction to the Lord's pastimes. How else do you show up? You know, a lot of people say, oh, I love Krishna, but I don't like his book. No, I'm too busy to chant these verses or chant the holy name. You love Krishna? You chant the holy name of Krishna with ecstatic love and bliss and all that, increasing every day? Well, we didn't think it was about that. We thought it was about this illusory checklist. You know, as long as my guru has studied the Vedas long enough, where he's memorized verses, man, and he's kissed a lot of ass, man, in following organized religion that Bhaktisiddhanta says destroys bhakti. See? Why did Bhaktisiddhanta and Prabhupada create organized religion even though they knew it destroys bhakti? Why? Because it's not so necessary for neophytes. Just get them in the game somehow or other. Let the neophytes be guru and let the neophytes follow. Let the blind lead the blind for a while. Okay? Get them to read the books. Get them really desiring. When am I going to get rid of this? This following hypocrites keep falling down. Or they never were up anyway. If you're really up and you got the holy name, even if you fell on your face, you get up. You notice? I fell on my face many times. I keep getting up, right? Why? That's how powerful the holy name is. He's giving it to a fool like me, and he's giving it to fools like you. The only ones who's not giving it out there if you think you're smart. Think you're perfect, or you need to be perfect and all that. Oh, well, you can't get this free gift. It's being given to the fallen souls. That's the truth. That's what's going on here. I'll read this verse again. It is so wonderful. It is so truthful. It just blasts the hell out of all the preaching and all Vaishnavism today. It just obliterates their preaching, man, because it is a lie. It is a lie. You cannot attain Krishna by sadhana and by austerities and by renunciation. Why? Because the book says so. You got to get it. Thank you very much. You got to get it as a gift when it's being given. And it is now. It's a gift. Just listen. Just hear the truth, and the truth will set you free. Hear that the Lord is still distributing because he came to Kali Yuga to distribute this bhakti. You just got to find the right time, 2019, the right place here in our sangha, Temple of the Heart, whatever you want to call it. See? Right circumstances, our sangha, the devotees worshiping here. It's the right place to be. You're not here, you're probably not getting it. You may get it somewhere else, but it looks like people need some more shiksha to know what they got. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this stupendous? Isn't this ridiculously, outrageously merciful what the Lord is giving through our sangha, man? Attraction to himself, practically shown. Am I speaking a lie? Is this right? Isn't this Krishna? Can you see that when you get attracted to talking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, chanting his name and his pastimes, that you're getting the gift that has never been given to the people before? Are you convinced of this truth yet? No? Well, stay another 30 days. And we'll work on it some more. We'll get whatever snake has bitten you from all these speculators. We'll just clear it off, man. We'll wrestle with that snake and defeat it. Like Krishna defeated Kaya, man. True, isn't it? Janaki knows I haven't. She's been studying me. She's waiting. When is he going to tell a lie? Still, she still hasn't been able. She can go out there. She's been 40 years. She sees all these bullshit statements coming out of these other gurus and teachers, but she can't seem to find one coming out of this mouth. I wonder why. It's pretty strange, huh? I still haven't heard one thing that wasn't right. I find it phenomenal too. I'm surprised also. But isn't this a beautiful verse? Isn't it so true? Isn't it so accurate? Isn't it so us? I'll read it again. The most munificent. You see? That's why you got to become if you're a real servant and associate of Lord Chaitanya, you will be like father, like son. You will also be distributing what has not been distributed by Narayan Raj and by Prabhupada, because he wasn't time. But in a sense, he's distributing it here because he's authorized it. See? So therefore, we're bona fide because he's in line. Him, Bhakti-santa, Bhakti-no, we're getting this whole thing ready for this moment, man. Okay? By their mercy, don't misunderstand. See? And anybody else. See? Too much truth. That's why, yeah, it's hard. You know, it's hard for this universe to bear so much truth because it will destroy it. It's too heavy. The bottom of the illusion will fall out. It just fall out. You know, there's nothing to hold it up. So Mani says, you tell us to be perfect. That is absolutely right. No, I don't tell you to be perfect. Krishna is already perfect. No, you just need to be in the right place at the right time in the right circumstances. And that's here. See? Not to be perfect. You know, Krishna's already perfect. His plan is perfect. His plan is this. This is perfection. Just take the gift of ecstatic devotion. Just stay here and listen and listen and listen till devotion to Krishna awakens very quickly. That's it. That's perfection, is just to do the right thing. See? Don't go anywhere else until you get very purified and very clear. Don't let Maya trick you to do that. That's perfection, not being perfect, but doing the right thing, doing the perfect thing, which is just be here and stay close and you will be delivered. Janaki knows. She tried to be perfect for 40 years. You know, perfect Brahmin, and it just didn't work. It never works. Better to just take the mercy. See? So the most munificent Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, known as Gaura Krishna. He was both Lord Chaitanya and Radha and Krishna. Lord Chaitanya was Radha and Krishna, see, in one form. So Radha and Krishna were in two forms. It's the complete divinity. So it's the same. Okay? Radha and Krishna were actually relating to each other, and Lord Chaitanya was in the mood of Radha relating to Krishna in one form, by mantra, by chanting, just like we do here. Distributed to everyone, even the lowest. Even the lowest. Even us. See? His most confidential treasury, which is the nectar of love of himself. And see, as I say, people think you got to be perfect to get this. No, you got to have the symptoms of getting this love, which is what? I just love to chant this book, man. This book is my life and soul. I just love kissing it. I like kissing the devotees, man. I'll kiss their feet. If they're a devotee of Krishna, their feet are kissable. Oh, I don't care about people calling me foot there. If they're a devotee of Krishna, have a try. I'll kiss their feet. I'll wash their feet. Man, what is the problem? Why do you think that's a bad thing? Kiss them on the mouth, kiss them on the butt. Doesn't matter, man. They're devotees of Krishna, man. Real devotees. They're kissable, man. Yeah. See, change your ideas of what you think perfection is, right? Because you see, we're in alignment here. This is actually being done. So it's not a theory. It's not bullshit. It's not a lie. And it's not boasting without, it's boasting of the truth. Hey, man, that's happening here, man. People are getting love for these books. That means confidential treasury of love for Krishna. Isn't that what Lord Chaitanya showed? Yeah, Maharaj Prataparudra struts in to the garden. Remember, I'm sure you all remember this verse. If not, we'll repeat it. He struts right in to the garden. And he quotes the 10th canto Bhagavatam verse. Those who distribute the treasure, those who distribute the treasure of the pastimes of Krishna are known as the most munificent welfare workers in the world. 10th canto. The Lord says, oh my God, what a verse. That is a treasure. You're the most munificent. You've given my ears treasure. Oh, I'm so wealthy. See, isn't that love for himself? Well, the Lord and his real associates are empowered to deliver that to people in Kali Yuga. If you're in the right place and the right circumstance at the right time, 2019, right here is where it's being done. People are showing in their own actions. That's your testimony. You're getting up and saying, my God, after 40 years, now I'm really feeling attraction for these books. Man, I was chanting like a cow. Now I'm tasting this mantra. And proof, you see the tears coming, man. You see the choking. Everything in the verses here is happening, is taking shape, is becoming a reality here. That's testimony. Who's got a testimony like that? This obliterates the illusion, the maya, the ignorance being preached in the name of truth. Am I telling a lie? Am I being accurate? Am I exaggerating? Or is this an actual fact? Just making it more clear what is here right now. Isn't this exciting? Doesn't this excite? Excites me, man. I read this. Wow, yeah, that's happening here. Thank you, Lord, for making me aware of that. See, it's in the book. Now it's on the lips. Now it's in your consciousness also. I used to think everybody. I was talking to Janaki today. I thought everybody understood. She said, no, not everybody understands. Oh, okay, I'll just keep on talking. I'll just show you what the Lord shows me. Right, it keeps our classes going day after day, year after year. See? Confidential treasury in the form of the nectar. See, it's a nectar. You all know it that are tasting this, right? Isn't it a nectar, man? Love for these verses, man. Love for the name. Doesn't it taste like nectar? I get to meet everybody here. Everybody just passing by me. Isn't this nectar? Isn't it nectar to taste the name? Isn't it nectar to taste these pastimes? So, hey man, are we in alignment with that verse? Are we not the manifestation of the book, what the book Bhagavad is doing? Are we becoming devotee Bhagavats, all of us? Huh? If you can start to taste this nectar, you're becoming a devotee Bhagavat. Even Rangaleka with half a brain. Guy's stumbling all over the place. That guy is becoming a devotee Bhagavat because he tells me he's tasting the nectar of that name. So he's faultless person, stumbling all over the place, faultless, no fault in all of that guy. The Lord is saying, hey man, that guy's faultless. Don't you criticize him for stumbling around, not remembering anything. The guy is tasting the nectar. He's been given the confidential treasury of taste, of the nectar, of love for these verses for the name of Krishna. He even said this morning, he said, my God, I'm chanting Krishna, tears are coming down my eyes all the time. Wow, man, that guy's gotten the gift of love. Can anybody else anywhere just so freely say to him? It's like, oh, that's amazing. It's amazing. It's crazy. Hey, that's testimony, man. People need to hear that. So the Lord is distributing here. People need to know, where is it? They're all looking. Oh, is Jayapataka a distribution point? Well, he has the name, man. He has the cloth. He has the rubber stamp. But is he distributing the confidential treasure of love of Krishna? Well, in his words would probably, oh, are you kidding? The premabhakti? Oh, that's many lifetimes. But keep worshiping me. I'm the head of the disciplic line. Same thing, Narayan Raj, I'm head of the line. Well, are you distributing the confidential treasury? Hey, come on, this court of law, man. Are you distributing Narayan Raj, Jayapataka? Well, whoever you are, we're not here to offend. Maybe we are, I don't know. If you take offense, well, that's your problem, man. Let's get real. Are you here, can you say that you are distributing the confidential treasury of love for Krishna? And how that shows up is your disciples are relishing these books to the point of tears and choking of the voice and symptoms of ecstatic devotion listed in our books. Yes or no? If you want to be known as an acharya at this time, you should at least be doing that. Otherwise, you're still a maintainer. You're just keeping the temples going and stuff. Yeah. You're still not understanding the heart of these verses. Okay? Back to that verse again in Chaitanya Mangal, quoted from Bhagavatam by the Lord himself, Lord Chaitanya. Only by unalloyed love of God can you attain Krishna. That's the confidential treasury the Lord is distributing personally as Lord Chaitanya, and that is gone now. But he's personally distributing again through his confidential devotees if you're lucky to find one in some way. Otherwise not. And that's if they get the order. The time might not be ripe. Well, it's obviously ripe. We're here to reap what others have sown. You and me and everybody here in our sanga are here to reap what Prabhupada sowed and what Bhaktisiddhanta sowed and what Bhaktivinoda sowed and Rupa Goswami and Lord Chaitanya, and all of them have sowed over 500 years. Do you think you guys have not had connection? If you are here now, you obviously do, and we're here. We're the reapers, but not the grim reapers. The grim reapers are those in illusion and not distributing this. We're happy reapers. Hey man, we're here to reap joy and ecstasy and the confidential treasury that has, not been given to the people at any time. Except 500 years ago, and 4 billion years before that. See, people in general, you had to be qualified. That's why people have stuck in their head austerity, renunciation, become a saint. You got to be so because if you see any particle of that kind of mercy, you see it in those persons that struggled and they were so somehow unusually superhuman type people, and you think, well, that's out of my reach. Okay? But the Lord has given that and he's given that here now too, to those who are not qualified. It's never been given to the people in general. Okay? Now, with this mercy of taste, even though you're not qualified and not at even an artha nivritti, now you just keep relishing. You use that bhakti, man, and you keep relishing these scriptures. You keep relishing chanting, man. You got an edge on everybody else. And you just keep destroying all the obstacles that way. Gone, gone, gone. and everybody else, they won't come, right? No, we want to follow the path of austerity and piety and renunciation, or we want to just glorify those who are glorifying that useless path. Useless compared to this. Ranga's a happy reaper, yeah. His life is success. I told him, you can sit in your room now and broadcast, and it's all gravy. It's all icing on the cake, man. Because now you'll go to Radha and Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. You know, your life is successful already. Okay? It cannot get unsuccessful. The Lord will never leave such a devotee. Even if you fall on your face, get covered up, He'll always be there to just very easily take you out of this. Isn't that a great verse? One verse, man, destroys all of the illusion of the illusionists for their benefit. Isn't that good? What do we want to win? Of course we want to win. What are we going to win and what are they going to lose? They're going to lose their ignorance. All these Vaishnava sangas, all you got to lose is your ignorance, your stupidity, your foolishness, your pride, all those worthless things that you worship and think is so great. That's all you got to lose. What do we have to win? Your happiness. See? Making Krishna in your own heart happy. That's all we can do. See? That's why there's one more dear than a real preacher of Krishna consciousness preaching the real truth, man. Because he's making Krishna in other people's hearts happy. Great verse, huh? I love this verse. See? His own confidential treasury in the form of the nectar of love of himself. See? So the love. See? Krishna Bhakti. Bhakti for Krishna. Love is Bhakti. Himself is Krishna. And who is Krishna? His transcendental name. But you don't know it's transcendental until love awakens in you. And that comes from the distributors, only by the distributors. Only by the real Bhakti-Vedantas. A real Bhakti-Vedanta has real Bhakti for the name of Krishna and his pastimes and his qualities. That's a Bhakti-Vedanta. That's why I have no problem with using the name Srila, Bhakti, Divine Grace, anything you want to say, because I know how things are working here. It is so according to the book. Hey man, that's why I am not trying to be great. No, greatness is already here. Greatness, the Lord is distributing that greatness here. He distributed it 500 years ago. He's the spotlessly pure, not me. But if I want to get purified, all I have to do is chant His holy name every day and give another class and glorify the truth, man. Am I lying here? Am I exaggerating, bullshitting? No, it's exactly as it is. And that's what excites me, is to tell people as it is, as it is, as it is. And as it is beyond the belief of most Vaishnavas at this time. They cannot believe in the truth of what is actually here. Just like they couldn't believe that all they had to do was believe in Jesus, and you'll get that nectar for the holy name. The nectar to worship God in ecstatic love. They couldn't believe it. It was beyond the realizations of the Pharisees. What I'm preaching and you're preaching now by your example is beyond the current revelation and realizations of these speculating leaders. They're like the Pharisees were back 2,000 years ago, or by the student community that Lord Chaitanya confronted. And we are also trying to help them like he helped them. Whew. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him. See? Unto Lord Chaitanya. He distributed. And that's why Prabhupada said, Gargamuni picked it up, only Lord Chaitanya can take his place. See? That's an empowered devotee, man, who's gotten this mercy. It's Lord Chaitanya instructing through them the truth as it is, and just obliterating all that ignorance out there, all those false conceptions being preached that you can attain Krishna by your sadhana and by renunciation, by austerities. My God, it says you can't in the book. You can only get it, you can only attain Krishna by this unalloyed love that he's giving to the most fallen persons in this world, if you make the right connection. If you find a real devotee who has this treasure and is distributing this treasure for real. Have we proved our case or what? I just love Prabhupada's books. Don't you love his books, man? They get more interesting every day. This is from his book, man. And it's not from the Change book either. I'm reading from his book. Thank you very much, you Ritviks, for keeping it preserved, too. So you did some good work there. So we're here to repay you back by just blasting your ignorance. That's our payback for you, man. You may not like it. You may not think that we're giving you mercy, but it doesn't matter because you will be very happy in the long run. All of you living gurus who are not really living yet, you're going to be happy. Case closed. Where's my hammer? Here's my hammer, my coffee cup. Court adjourned. Till the next case. What's next on the agenda? Okay, let's see what's next. So next, another verse. Verse number 3. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, now hear, O Sanatan, about the result of devotional service, which is love of Godhead, life's ultimately goal. If one hears this description, he will be enlightened in the transcendental mellows of devotional service. Okay. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, now hear, O Sanatan. See, hear. From who? From an expert, from an experienced personality, Lord Chaitanya. About the result of devotional service. What is the result of doing devotional service? Huh? Which is love of Godhead. Okay? So there's two types of results of devotional service. You can do Vaidhi Bhakti. Okay? What is the result of that? Well, ultimately, after a long time, Vaikuntha, if you can flawlessly follow the rules and regulations. Okay? So generally, the Lord starts the path like that because people can't understand what we're telling everybody today, right now. So anyway, you had 50 years to follow that path, okay? So the result of that ultimately is love of Godhead. But what does the Lord teach in Prabhupada's books? Oh, by the way, that love is stunted, man. It's not very strong. It doesn't really satisfy me. It doesn't control me. So that result is Vaikuntha, see? And the Lord says that's what you can get from the result of doing Vaidhi Bhakti. Oh, and that, by the way, that's after a long time. Oh, you won't probably perfect that in this life. Maybe many lives, and then you'll perfect it. What's the other result? The other path. See, there's Vaidhi Bhakti, and then there's Raganuga Bhakti for when a person's ready or willing to accept that path. What is that path? That path was taught by Lord Chaitanya. That path is in the previous verse that I read. See? That path is, the Lord in this Kali Yuga is very magnanimous. His devotees are considered very magnanimous too, if they get the order to distribute that confidential treasury of love for himself, even to us persons here who are unqualified for that. And you can pass it on to others, even though you're not perfect either, because the Lord has given you that treasure. And what is his qualification? He says, oh, you devotees have natural love for me. We read that verse, Caitanya-caritāmṛta. You devotees take so much trouble to come and see me, and you have love for me, transcendental love for me. Therefore, you can distribute my transcendental body, which is this confidential treasury, to others. Regardless, I don't look at your personal qualities. I don't look how big your brain is, how small your brain is, how smart you are, how dumb you are. Do you have this devotion? Did you get it in the distribution point, which is the only practical way to get it? Oh, you do? Oh, you can distribute this to others. Whoever will believe your testimony and your preaching will also get this awakened in them. That's our disciplic line. So what path do you want to follow now after 50 years following Vaidhi-Bhakti? 40 years, 25 years. Okay? Because here, that confidential treasure of love for these verses and the holy name is here, which we've practically proven day after day, 365 days a year, for 22 years, preaching actively and not counting before that. Of course, we had a few obstacles we had to surmount. See? See? You want to follow this path? We've just proven it in verses that people are getting this confidential treasury, which is love for the verses of Lord Chaitanya, because that is Lord Chaitanya. Love for himself. He is the book, man. And if you have bhakti, you have that nectar of that love, you can relish these verses, and people are in our sanga. They're not running around like a chicken with their head cut off, doing service after service after service to keep them busy because they don't have attraction for the book. You think Prabhupada liked everybody doing the pick? Constantly making money. Oh, we got to make lots of money for that big Mayapur temple. Let's make it big. Okay, fine. How long? Who's ready to get off that bandwagon? Who's ready? I think a few are. You want to get on this bandwagon and chant the holy names in ecstasy? Glorify the truth in such, wonderful clarity? To help people get on to this path and attain devotion to Krishna? The highest goal of life, even though they're unqualified? Yeah, you want the easy way or the hard way? It's up to you guys. Freddie says, Godbrothers were not qualified, his initiated disciples were not qualified to be the next Acharya. Seems to be qualified from Prabhupada's entourage. Then why question the teacher himself? Yeah, because see, the qualification for that is not known, was not preached. It's in Prabhupada's books. The qualification of this is, do you have the symptoms of love for people, love for Krishna? Okay? So, it's in a verse, hidden in a verse, hidden in the verses I'm just preaching now. Lord Krishna cares more about devotion, pure devotion to him, himself, than any other personal qualities. And that's what's being given in Kali Yuga, if you make the right connection. See? So, Lord Caitanya-caritāmṛta, the play by Kavi Kanapur, said, Lord Chaitanya's devotees descended here in this world in the guise of ordinary persons. Now, what does that mean? Oh, they were householders sometimes. They were beggars. They were Brahmins, they were sannyasis, they were nobodies, they were pig farmers, man. They were meat eaters, they were beef eaters. See? The only way you could tell who they were, how? Is they came bearing love for Lord Chaitanya. They had a natural attraction for his name, his pastimes, his qualities. So back then, he was there. If they saw Lord Chaitanya, they said, this is the Lord, I'm coming after him. I'm going to follow him. That's a devotee, man. They're all like that. I got Prabhupada's book. I said, I dropped everything, man. I did that with Jesus. I dropped everything, man. I got it. I said, man, this is it, man. This is what I've been looking for this whole life and didn't even know it. And I got Prabhupada's book. Same thing. Dropped everything. Went right to the temple and said, here's everything. Take it all. It's worthless, man. I just want connection and to be instructed by this person. Okay? The devotees are like that. They're naturally, by nature, they know this person knows God. Okay? If you're not like that, then you got to meet the devotees, and then, you very quickly become like that. Okay? So we're teaching the qualification is different. Just find a devotee who has natural love for the holy name, natural love for Lord Chaitanya and his pastimes and qualities, and proves it. Okay? And then awakens devotion to Krishna, others who are, smart enough or intelligent enough or led enough by chance or by intelligence to hear from them. That's it. Okay. Okay, so I got to rest my voice for a while. I think that's a good enough class to me. Huh? So everybody, you meditate on this. I need to rest a little bit. Then I'd like to speak again, but I'm probably going to go home. Hare Krishna.